Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back to Joyful Living. Today, which happens to be my 30th wedding anniversary as this video is going up, I'm going to share with you guys my top 3 tips for a long and happy marriage. Yeah, I know, pretty bold. I'm really glad that you're here. So first of all, I want to be very clear. I am not a marriage counselor. I am not a trained therapist. I am only a person who has been married for 30 years, and each marriage is very, very different. I have had many friends whose marriages have been wonderful until they weren't, who ended up splitting up for all good and wise reasons. And I know one thing, you did the best you could. So we're just going to say that at the outset. Many times over our 30 years of marriage, Scott and I have wondered if we were actually going to make it. And I think anyone that's been married for any amount of time will tell you the same thing. And if they don't tell you that, they are probably selling you something. But I have kind of boiled it down to 3 things that I think have helped with as long as we've been together. I also think a big dose of it is just plain old-fashioned chemistry and good luck. I happen to marry a person that I'm very, very compatible with, and that friendship and companionship has gone a long way towards getting us through the difficult times. So let's dive into my 3 top tips, okay? Tip number 1, look for someone with a sense of humor over someone who is the best looking person in the room. Now, when I say that, let me be clear. My husband is very good looking, and I believe he thinks that I am very good looking. But if I had to choose between the really good looking guy that was dull as dirt and the guy that was kind of okay looking but cracked me up every time I was around him, let me just tell you, you're gonna want to go with the funny guy. And here's why. 2 a.m. at the emergency room with your sweet baby who can't breathe, the good looking guy is going to do you no good at all, but the funny guy is going to know the perfect thing to say that's going to keep you from just losing your mind and is going to help you get through that really tough time. The good-looking guy, yeah, that's okay for a while, but looks like anything else fade. And guys, I'm talking to you as much as I'm talking to the women. We all age, and none of us look as good at 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 as we did at 20. So if that's going to fade, then let's go with the things that we know are still going to stick around. Good character, a sense of humor, someone that you really enjoy being around. So step 1, don't necessarily marry the best looking person in the room. Tip number 2, and this one I think is so vitally important, and I can speak with some authority. Almost every couple we know that has been married for a couple of decades or longer would say that this is true. Have your own interests. Now, your spouse is going to be a very important part of your life, but your spouse should not be your entire life. You should both have your own hobbies, things that you do independently. If you've watched the channel for any amount of time, you know that I travel on my own a lot. Scott does things on his own. He has hobbies that I'm not part of. I have hobbies that he's not part of. We also have shared hobbies and things that we do together, but we each have a very clear and certain sense of identity that has nothing to do with the other person. When the movie Jerry Maguire came out and that whole "you complete me" thing was said over and over again, it kind of drove me up the wall, because let me just say, if you cannot be a whole independent person without that partner, that to me is not a healthy partnership. That is codependency. So as much as I love Scott and as much as he is my partner in life, I actually am my own independent person with my own thoughts, ideas, and interests that are completely independent of my relationship with him. We also both have friendships that are not always shared. I have friends, he has friends, and neither one of us are threatened by the other person's friendships. So you need to be independent, and you need to be okay with your spouse being independent. And all I can say is, for me and for many of the couples that we know, that's super important to a long and healthy marriage. All right, now tip number 3, and if you listen to nothing else in this video, please listen to this. Find a great marriage therapist. This is as important as a dentist, as a gynecologist, as a good car mechanic, and you want to find a good marriage therapist before you need a good marriage therapist. And here's why. Nobody wants to be trying to find a referral for a therapist when they are really in dire need of one. There are going to be times in your marriage where you are going to be at a crossroads. Maybe it's a decision that you're getting ready to make. Maybe it's something to do with in-laws and relationships. Maybe it's something to do with some patterns you're seeing in your spouse or in yourself. But having that third party that you both trust to be impartial and to help talk you through any conflicts you may have will change the landscape of your marriage. Sometimes Scott and I will come to an impasse, and instead of me just feeling like all is lost, I can pick up the phone or actually get on WhatsApp and I can reach out to our counselor and I can schedule time with her and we can shelve it until we can get in her office. And oftentimes we find that either he has a blind spot or I have a blind spot, and we weren't really seeing things from the other person's perspective. Having that third party who can be objective can make all the difference and can really determine the long-term health of your marriage. So after 30 years, I can tell you, it has not always been easy. There have been months that have been difficult. There have been years that have been difficult. But with every day, I am more and more grateful for my partner, for this person that I fell in love with when I was 18 years old. And now at almost 50, I still get to see almost every day. He does travel a lot, but I get to talk to every day and tell him that I love him and that I'm grateful for him. I hope you like this video. I hope that you'll subscribe and stick around. I don't frequently talk about marriage, but I decided since it was my 30th wedding anniversary, I could take a little break and talk about whatever I wanted to. So have a great day, whatever you're doing. I hope you're finding joy, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.